Good afternoon. It's Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and end the stigma. On the news this Monday afternoon. Former Rivers Administrator Ibas rejects Rivers Assembly's move to probe 6-month spending. GDI President Muonyili criticizes airport reception for Governor Fubara. PDP unveils subcommittees for November National Convention in Ibadan. On the foreign scene, UK tells Israel not to retaliate as France prepares to join countries recognizing Palestinian state. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. Former River State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, has reacted to the River State House of Assembly's move to probe expenditure under his tenure. As you may know, River State received at least 254.37 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee between March and August 2025 under the tenure of the sole administrator. Ibas, Senior Special Advisor on Media, Hector Ibikiohubo, in an interview with the Punch newspaper, said the lawmakers lacked the power to investigate him, saying they did not appoint him as the administrator of the state. He said the lawmakers, having been away from the business of legislation for a while, were merely trying to make an effort to discharge their functions. He also said the attempt to probe the former administrator is tantamount to probing the president, who appointed him, as well as the National Assembly, which supervised the activities of the former state administrator. He added that while nobody can prevent the assembly from probing what they perceive to be their functions within the state, the attempt to probe the immediate past administrator of the state would be a fool's errand. The President General of the Grassroots Development Initiative, GDI, Bright Amehule, has criticized the turnout of Governor Siminalayi Fubara supporters who gathered to welcome him at the airport last week. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire, Amehule, a loyalist of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, argued that the governor should not have permitted such a reception. He described the gathering as an act of enmity toward members of the State House of Assembly.
Governor of Rivers State is not for a particular group. It's for the people of Rivers State. The governor would have allowed what happened. The return of the governor is not something that some persons will now say, our governor. They took it from the wrong side. They didn't take it the way that the governor will even succeed. They just took it the way that, they want one problem. They would allow the governor to return. Assume office. At the appropriate time, very, very appropriate time, the governor would have initiated a move where all of us would have gathered together and say, His Excellency, welcome back to Government House.
Amehule also said that to bridge the divide between Governor Fubara's supporters and those loyal to the FCT minister, the governor should organize a meeting with leaders from the FCT minister's camp to foster peace and ensure the smooth administration of the state.
The governor to call for a gathering, maybe a meeting, and talk to the people. And this gathering should include the leaders, the leaders of the states. After that, these people can now go back to the grassroots and talk to their people to embrace peace and embrace each other. Otherwise, no problem. Go ahead, do your governorship.
He further questioned why supporters of Governor Fubara did not also welcome the State Assembly members.
Why didn't they go to receive the assembly members? That's the thing. They don't understand what they are doing. The assembly members already announced that they were going to sit. So at the point of the assembly members now going back to sit, they would have as well moved to a place of sitting and then receive them, welcome them, and show solidarity than being sentimental. So what they just show to Rivers people is that, look, we are in support of governor, we are against assembly. So how can they work together?
Now, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says he would not have survived the recent political crisis without the prayers of Rivers people. He made the remark during a Thanksgiving service at St. Paul's Anglican Church in Opobonkoro local government area on Sunday. The governor reaffirmed his commitment to serving the state and asked for continued prayers and support for his administration as it charts a renewed course of leadership.
We wouldn't have survived it without your prayers. Thank you to the Almighty God, and thank you for these my native people who have always made this sacrifice of fasting, praying for my survival, praying for anything that will bring shame upon my life, that God should remove it. I'm here to say, God has answered your prayer. Continue to pray for us because we are starting the journey again, and the prayer is even needed more at this time.
The service featured special prayers led by the Vicar of St. Paul's Anglican Church, Venerable Emmanuel Nwuju, for the success of the administration and the peace and prosperity of Rivers State and Nigeria. Governor Fubara attended the service with his wife, Lady Valerie Siminalayi Fubara, the Chief of Staff, Dr. Edison Ehe, and other stakeholders. Meanwhile, questions over money and governance are raising tension. Niger Delta activist Ankyo Briggs says Rivers people deserve to know the full details of the agreement between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and President Bola Tinubu, which ended 6 months of emergency rule. Briggs warns that without accountability, the governor risks losing credibility, stressing that politicians must not make decisions affecting citizens without transparency. Now to national politics, where parties are already preparing for the 2027 general elections. The ABC says it wants the next INEC chairman to guarantee a level playing field. The PDP is demanding a leader of unquestionable integrity who remains impartial, while the ADC is warning that failure to conduct credible elections could endanger Nigeria's democracy. Current INEC boss, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, completes his tenure in November, and President Tinubu is expected to announce his successor, subject to Senate confirmation. Meanwhile, the PDP has officially released the names of members for its various subcommittees tasked with organizing the 2025 elective national convention, scheduled for November 15 to 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State. The announcement was made through a post shared on the party's official X account today. The list was signed off by the NCOC chairman and Adamawa State Governor Omar Fintiri. It spanned over 100 subcommittee members across categories like accreditation, security, and electoral processes. The subcommittees are chaired by prominent figures, including governors, senators, and party stalwarts. In Sokoto, the National Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, Dr. Ogini Olaposi, says plans to join the APC are by Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso and his Kwankwasia movement, and not the party. The NNPP scribe clarified this in a statement today in Lagos State. Kwankwaso, a former Kano State governor and 2023 presidential candidate of the NNPP, on Saturday declared that he and his supporters are now ready to join the ruling APC. Kwankwaso, however, warned that his political movement will not allow itself to be used to win elections and then abandoned afterwards. We go on a quick break. When we return, we'll tell you that an international firm has been engaged to assess Port Harcourt refinery. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back. Now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo's denial of pushing for a third term in office has been refuted by political activist and civil society leader Dr. Usman Bugaji. Bugaji, in an interview, insisted that the former president did everything within his power to extend his tenure. Obasanjo, while speaking at a democracy dialogue hosted by the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation in Ghana last week, dismissed the long-standing third-term controversy, saying he is not a fool and if he wanted a third term, he knows how to go about it. He also said there is no Nigerian dead or alive that would say he called them about a third term. But reacting on Arise Television, Bugaji, who served as a member of the National Assembly during Obasanjo's administration, maintained that legislators at the time had first-hand knowledge of the former president's alleged ambition. Bugaji recalled how some lawmakers allegedly suffered intimidation, citing Senator Victor La, then leader of the Northern Caucus of the House of Representatives, who, according to him, had to hide in different locations before a decisive gathering was held to resist the third-term bid. The presidency has dismissed as baseless and absurd claims by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai that President Bola Tinubu harbors plans to become a live president after his tenure. In a post on X, a special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the allegation was nothing more than panic propaganda, stressing that Tinubu remains an avowed Democrat with no intention of exceeding the constitutional two-term limit. The presidential spokesperson said El-Rufai's outburst reflected frustration over the strength of Tinubu's support in the north, especially after the president's grand reception during his recent visit to Kaduna. He argued that the former governor's northern disaffection with Tinubu collapsed under the weight of reality. Now, he added that El-Rufai's claims of a live presidency plot were nothing more than a desperate attempt to distract from the futility of effort by the former governor and his new political associate to derail Tinubu's anticipated re-election in 2027. Away from that, the federal government has established a committee to investigate an explosion at the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria complex in Kaduna State. The managing director of Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited and a former head of security at the Senate, Kabir Adamu, said this on Channels Television today. Recall that 2 workers, including a military officer, were killed and 4 others were injured after an explosion hit the corporation's factory in the Kormin-Gwari area of Kaduna metropolis on Saturday. In business, the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, says the Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has contracted an international firm to evaluate the condition of the Port Harcourt refinery ahead of potential investment. Petron disclosed the arrangement in a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Joseph Obele. The international company, Honeywell UOP, is a leading American multinational company that specializes in developing and delivering technology to the petroleum refining, gas processing, petrochemical production, and major manufacturing industries. The association commended Bayo Ojulari, the group chief executive officer of the NNPC, for awarding the assessment contract. The group also said it endorses the move by the NNPC to revive the refinery under a technical and equity T&E partnership model, calling for transparent procedures. As the Dangote refinery launched its direct fuel distribution scheme, bulk fuel consumers and filling stations are dumping their middlemen suppliers for Dangote's free delivery. The president of the National Association of Road Transport Owners, Yusuf Othman, stated this on TVC News. Othman, who condemned the free delivery of fuel to filling stations, telecom companies, and other bulk users, said buyers have now jettisoned the contract signed with its members to receive free delivery from Dangote. The NATO president explained that his members have up to 30,000 trucks and cannot do the business of fuel distribution free of charge. In entertainment, former Big Brother Niger housemate Seyi Awolowo has revealed his unpleasant experience on the reality TV show. The 35-year-old grandson of late Yoruba leader Obafemi Awolowo said he allowed himself to be bullied by very low, insignificant, and uneducated people while on the show. In sports, Botswana has declared a public holiday to celebrate the country's victory in the men's 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. It is the first African nation to win the event.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
UK's Foreign Secretary Ifechukwu says she has warned Israel not to annex part of the West Bank in retaliation for the UK's recognition of Palestinian statehood. It comes as France is expected to join the UK, Canada and Australia in recognizing a Palestinian state. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it gives a huge reward to terrorism. In a video statement released on social media last night, he also says a Palestinian state will not happen. Meanwhile, world leaders will gather later at the UN General Assembly in New York, where a meeting is planned to discuss the path to a two-state solution to end the war in Gaza.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this afternoon, you heard the former Rivers Sole Administrator, Abbas, has rejected Rivers Assembly's move to probe 6-month spending. GDI President Amehule has criticized the airport reception for Governor Fubara. The PDP has unveiled the subcommittees for November National Convention in Ibadan. On the foreign scene, the UK has told Israel not to retaliate as France prepares to join countries recognizing Palestinian state. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.